All right, folks, let's talk about the differences between offensive and defensive knife work. This is a little bit of application and a little bit of tactics, a little bit of a way to think about what you're doing. All right, let's start off with offensive. Most of what you see on the internet, in classes, and wherever you're looking, frequently tends to be what I would categorize as offensive knife work. Offensive knife work is what happens when you've already got your weapon in your hand and you're engaging, for the most part, multiple opponents. So you have to take the fight to them. You can't sit back and be in a defensive position. Defensive knife work is that knife work that happens in those first few oh shit moments. Now, again, with a knife, we're dealing with deadly force. A knife can be less than lethal, but in the eyes of the law, it's still deadly force. So all the rules of deadly force in your locality apply. You can't hold me liable for this. It's on you. Now, one of the things we have to understand about a knife is a knife, and I say this a lot, it's not an instant off switch. You don't stab somebody, they don't fall over. You can easily look up on YouTube prison stabbings, knife assaults in South America all over. So what you see is people getting stabbed multiple times. Stabbed, slashed, hit. A lot of them don't even know they've been stabbed. Frequently, if they're survivors, they'll say, well, I was punched, I felt I got hit, and then next thing I knew I was bleeding. Do your research, look at stuff, study what happens. The important thing because of this, we have an approach to knife work. We have things we target because they're the things that are most likely to get a response and most likely to stop us from being attacked. So we target the vision. It's obvious. Can't see, can't fight. We target the mobility. Can't come after me, can't fight. We target the breathing. Can't breathe, can't fight. All of these will cause blood loss, but blood loss takes time. And trying to remember who said it, but there's like a phrase somewhere along the lines called a dying man's second, where you've hit him, he's dying, but he's still got time to strike you and cause you a grievous or life-changing wound. And that's what we want to avoid. We want to avoid that dying man's second. So, offensive knife work. We'll see a lot of offensive knife work based off of the classic boxer's 1-2. Jab followed by a cross. We see this with a knife, frequently done with a finger jab and then a strike with the knife. Really effective. Covers a lot of ground quickly, and it does exactly what you want to do. And in that time space, you can move to other opponents, you can reposition yourself and possibly escape. Ideally, that's what we want to do, is escape. We're not looking to kill people. That is not what this is about. We're looking at defending ourselves. So I'm going to go over here on the dummy and we're going to deal with some offensive stuff. Understanding that most attacks tend to come in the angle 1 line. So we spend a lot of time working on that. Right-handed person tends to swing with the right hand, top to bottom, across the body. Again, go look at footage of bar fights. Look at footage of assaults. You don't see a lot of low-line attacks as the opening gambit to an assault. So what you tend to train most for is those high line into that angle 1. Your left shoulder, your left side of your face, your head, you get the idea. So one of the things we're going to use in our what's called a matrix, our progression, is the elbow shield. The elbow shield is a simple block. It protects most of your vitals, and it's simply this: elbow pointing at your opponent. Now we can go into detail on that at some later point if we're just doing some hand-to-hand stuff, but we're going to focus on the knife right now. And we're working off the assumption that what's being swung at us is something that could cause deadly force, i.e. a club, a beer bottle, a knife, whatever. So, we're being attacked. First thing we're going to do is we're not going to stay here. Now, stepping off to the side is the classic response. But you frequently don't have time to do that. What you do have time to do is throw up an elbow shield and change your level. Changing your level is really important because it takes your head out of the target zone. Get a little closer to the camera here so you can see what I'm saying. If we are here and you take that swing at me, I'm gone, and I'm protecting my vitals, I'm protecting my throat, I'm protecting all the computer, and I'm putting up the outside of my arm. If you're going to get cut, this is one of the better places to get cut. So, the attack comes in. We change our level. We get out of the way. We pull our knife. We insert the knife into the leg. What we're looking at doing is somewhere between the knee and the hip. Chances are, you're going to hit that femoral artery. But that's not what we're after. What we're really after is to cut this muscle. We want to stop this leg from functioning. So, elbow shield into the leg. Now, once you're in the leg, this is not a stick and pull. This is a stick and rip. Notice this coils our body. Now, typically, we're either going to go for the vision next, because we've hit their mobility. But in this case, what we're going to do is we get this leg, we rip, and we push. We're pushing into their face, we're pushing into their eyes, we're knocking them back. Because what we want to do is destabilize their base. We want them to have to reset their legs, and when they go to reset that leg that you severed the muscle on, then they're going to fall. If you're in a position where you can't get that, you can't get that push from here, the rib, into the lungs. Now, the big thing about this is when stabbing, we don't want our knife to go in straight like this. Using our hand as ribs, we want that knife to go between the ribs, not between the ribs. So, we get shield, stab, rip, perforate the lungs, and then come up and target the subclavia. Now, the reason I say target up here is it's a wide target. There's a lot you can hit. Is it ideal? No. But it's going to cause reactions in your opponent. Chances are at this point, you're going to be able to step away, run away, move away. Now, here's the difference between what I just showed you and offensive knife work. Offensive knife work, we're already being combative. I've already drawn my knife. Then I'm attacking. That's when I'm taking control of the fight. So think about that in your work. Play with it. Have fun. And hopefully this whole thing will be over soon, in another month or so. Be safe.